how to develop your unique selling proposition, how to make sure that the reader knows what you're good at and what potential added value you have to bring, how to brand yourself, how to position yourself as a candidate on the job market. When talking about a unique selling proposition, what's important is to remember that there is a difference between so-called long list arguments and short list arguments. Very often when we have our career consultations, we ask candidates / clients, first we ask them, okay, where do you want to work? And let's say they say, oh, I want to be a finance director for Coca-Cola. And then I say, okay, so why should Coca-Cola hire you? Well, I have experience in finance, I'm a good manager, and I'm loyal. And what's super important to understand for every single candidate, and this might be the most important thing that I will say during this entire webinar today. So there is a difference between long list arguments and short list arguments. The sample answer I just gave you is not the reason for why Coca-Cola should hire that specific candidate. It is a reason why they should be part of the recruitment process, but it's not a reason for why they should get hired. From a recruiter's perspective, there are different stages in delivering candidates. First, we have the briefing stage when they understand what is Coca-Cola looking for. Then we prepare a so-called target list, which is the number of companies where we will actively source candidates from, which then translates into the long list. The long list is a list of 30 to 50 candidates that fulfill basic requirements. In other words, we define the apple and we look for apples. And now the shortlist argument is, why should I be hired? So why should they hire you? And here we need to be much more precise and understand, why am I different than the other 30 to 50 candidates on the long list? So from your own perspective, the thinking process should be here, okay, what long lists should I be on? What recruitment processes should I get invited to? And though that can be one homogeneous box, it could also be 2 or 3 different boxes. And then the second level thinking is, okay, now that I'm on the long list, why should I win? Why am I different, better, more unique than the others on the long list? Here an example. So interview asked the candidate, why should our company hire you? And the candidate says, because I'm reliable, a good manager, and loyal. I've kind of already given you the answer to that. This is a very common answer, even for experienced managers and executives. But it is the worst possible answer because the candidate uses descriptive adjectives. It's okay to use descriptive adjectives when you're a student with no experience or let's say 2 internships, but at a certain professional level, when being asked the question, when being asked, okay, so why are you different, unique, etc., don't give descriptive adjectives as an answer. So answer number 2 is the one I gave before, because I have more than 10 years of experience in finance, I'm a good manager, and I have experience working in international corporations. Now here, this is a standard answer given by most candidates. So probably 80% of candidates would answer that way. And as I said, this is why they qualify for the recruitment process, but not why they should get hired. Another way how you can imagine it, if you are a hiring manager, recruiter, anybody who asks those questions, now imagine you have 5 candidates and you ask 5 candidates, why should I hire you? And 4 of them give exactly that answer. And one says, well, and let's say answer number 3 is because I have co-authored and delivered 2 restructuring projects in the last 3 years. In every role in the last 7 years, I have been able to identify savings of up to €500,000, and I've been able to reduce unwanted rotation in the finance department from 23 to 0%, within 6 months of taking over. Now, if I have 5 candidates where 4 give the standard answer and candidate number 5 gives a very concrete answer, which one do I go for? Of course, with answer number 3. It is the best possible answer that the fewest candidates give. It gives the executive search consultant or HR department arguments to put you forward on the shortlist, or even attach a recommendation for hiring you and not the other candidates. Now, what's important here, and this is one of the reasons why I'm not a recruiter anymore, giving a concrete answer, or the candidate with the best answer doesn't necessarily have to be the best candidate, if you know what I mean. So this is really about learning how to brand yourself, how to position yourself, how to stand out and make sure that you are in the selection process and you get a chance to get the job that you might be actually the best fit for. Okay. Here another example. Marketing professional, interview to candidate, why should our company hire you? And the market asserts, because I have 7 years of experience in marketing, I have managed a small team of 2 people, I know digital marketing. Question to all of you here, how do we like that? What's missing? How would you like that answer of a candidate? And if somebody's on Facebook watching, feel free to participate as well. Not concrete enough, achievement is missing, results are missing evidence, examples, no real benefits. Okay. Agreed. I completely agree with you, because I'm enthusiastic, creative, and I can work under stress. We already know that's not going to work. What about this one? Because I've worked on the digital marketing strategy, which has increased the sales volume by 30%. I have been part of the team that developed our social media presence on Facebook and LinkedIn, and I have personally managed our Insta account and have obtained our first 30,000 followers. Of course, we like that. And you can believe me or not, but we see those transformations from answer 1 or answer 2 to answer 3 within about 2 weeks of working with somebody. And those are exactly the same candidates, exactly the same competencies. We've just changed the communication, we've changed the packaging. So how you position yourself is so immensely important. So how do you arrive at the unique selling proposition? How do you come up with those answers? A couple of ideas. One I already mentioned, make a list of project successes, types of client, tools, language skills, countries, scope, number of team members, geographies, qualifications, volunteering experience, etc. So make a list of everything that can be expressed tangibly. You look for patterns when analyzing. This is also something, especially if somebody has been working for 10 to 15 years, there are a lot of things we do out of, I'll use the expression autopilot, without realizing, hey, actually, this is something I do differently than my colleagues. So I do recommend everyone to make a list of projects, make a list of successes, do some self-reflection and see, how am I doing something differently, better, more effectively? Where does that come from, etc. Another tip, and I'd recommend everyone to do that, research your competition. So let's say, okay, one of you decides, okay, I want the goal is marketing manager in Milan. Then go on LinkedIn and search, from the recruiter's perspective, how many marketing managers are there in Milan? And you'll see it's probably several thousand, which is a very big pool. Then go back and say, okay, so maybe not marketing manager, what's the other keyword that I need? Maybe it's digital, maybe it's e-commerce, maybe it's Facebook or in something. When researching the combination of keywords that you want to be found with, click through the first 20, 30, 40 LinkedIn profiles and see who you are potentially competing against. So what kind of professional qualifications do they have, education, publication, and see, well, get inspired. Talk to somebody who knows you professionally. Current or former colleagues, mentors, direct bosses, get feedback and say, listen, I'm currently working on my CV. I'm trying to come up with my unique selling proposition. What would you say? How am I better, different? And get external input. You can ask a friendly recruiter, ideally not only one, but a couple. And either friendly recruiter means a recruiter that you already have a relationship with. If you don't, next time you have an interview with HR or a recruiter and they ask you at the very end of the interview, well, do you have any questions? You say, yes, I do. What's your impression of my profile? And ask for feedback. Well, do you see something that is different from my profile than a profile of people that you are usually interviewing? So make sure to make the most of conversations with HR and headhunters. Now, where do you use the unique selling proposition? It comes up at the beginning of the CV. So it's a profile summary on your CV, which we will talk about at length during the second module. And it is at the beginning of LinkedIn, the About session. You use the unique selling proposition when contacting headhunters, decision makers, and your network. Now, what might be good here also to mention, for some of you, you might not have one goal. When looking for a job, you might come up with two different goals. To say, I'll try two things at the same time, which means you need two different unique selling propositions, two different CVs. Now with LinkedIn, it gets tricky because you still need one LinkedIn profile that compromises and doesn't cannibalize both goals. You will also use the unique selling proposition during the interviews, especially at the beginning.
Hi, you have just watched a little fragment of all the know-how at Career Angels that goes into finding the best possible job. We have decided to put our know-how into one very thorough and structured course that is now available on Udemy. In that course, we will walk you through all 4 steps of the job hunting process. Step number 1 is about goal setting, realistic goal setting. We will explain career management theory backed by research, as well as walk you through the parameter bidding exercise. Step number 2 is about your unique selling proposition. In other words, how you position yourself on the current job market. Step number 3 is about communicating that in your CV for applicant tracking systems, and your optimized LinkedIn profile. Step number 4, the last step, is about managing and navigating the job hunting channels, meaning how to network, how to apply to job ads, how to contact headhunters, and how to contact and reach out to decision makers at the companies you would like to work for. So in summary, the course is very thorough, explains all our methodology, and is now available on Udemy. Summarizing, our course on Udemy walks you through the 4 steps of the job search process. Why did we decide to publish it? We did that so that your own job search becomes less frustrating, faster, and more effective. If you'd like to check it out, find the link down there in the description.